Question is, how are you?
I'm feeling great. It's good to see everybody. Thanks everyone for coming here tonight and not going elsewhere. I appreciate you being here, everybody. I hope you all like the show.
Yeah.
What can I do? What can I answer for you guys? What can I do for you?
Go ahead. Can you walk us through the emotions of the day for you, starting from when you woke up? We got about a decade-long diatribe from Chris Daniels earlier, but I'm concerned about the emotions of today.
The very first thing today I was really thrilled about is we finally were able to break the news, then got the confirmation that we were going to be able to get on ITV sooner, and I was really happy. And that was really going to be the case all along. It was just that we had a couple of the replays that had been scheduled got prematurely announced, and then people thought that was all we were doing, and it was just part of the coverage. And then we announced the whole package today, and I think people were way happier. So that was a big relief. So that was knowing that we were going to be able to do that was a big part of the early day. I mean, the show, we had a great production meeting last night. Our production meeting, we have like some of the greatest minds in wrestling in our production meeting room. So I felt really good by the time we got out about where we were with the show. I mean, we've had a good idea what we wanted to do here for a long time, and I'm just really happy with it. And as the day went on, I never really got nervous. I mean, we've done a lot of shows. I think the only difference here is commercial breaks and a bigger audience, and I mean, those are huge differences, and we'd factored those in when we planned the show, so not really surprised. I think everything was very tightly timed, but I thought everything came off well, and it was a really well-paced show. I'm very happy with it. But I'm not surprised it went well. Thank you for asking that.
Were there any benchmarks that you had going into the show that you can say you checked off now that it's over?
Yeah, like all of them. The only ones I don't know are the I mean, like everything I was hoping we could do, I think we did with this. So everything, the one thing I don't know yet is the ratings. But I'm really happy with the way the show came off. I'm really happy with the early feedback I've gotten. But the most important thing I think for our network partners and a lot of people will be to see how we do the ratings tomorrow. But to me, also to see our fans are happy and people in the live audience was happy. And so far, people who watched at home have told me they thought it was a great show. And so I'm really happy with that. I think as far as where we're at creatively, I think we're in a great place. And I'm not surprised by that. So when I say we checked off stuff, well, it was like stuff we kind of expected we'd be going into full gear in next week's show with some really big stuff. The tag team tournament is starting next week. Going into full gear, we are going to know who the World Tag Team Champions are because across the next several weeks of television, that's going to be a main focal point of the TV. I think we know now that Chris Jericho defending the world title, he is going to have to make one defense before full gear, and whoever gets through that defense now, Cody is clearly going to be the number one contender, and I think we're going to be in a position where we're going to have a great world title match. I think Kenny Omega versus John Moxley is going to be a great feud, and there's great stuff there. And then Hangman Page and Pac, I think they had an awesome match, and there was something people were really excited to see, so I was really excited to check off that box creatively. And then for them to have an awesome match, but also now I think there's more to it. I think people, the finish probably left people wanting more. Did Earl miss the call? And I think if Earl blew the call, maybe Hangman deserves a rematch, and we'll see. So I think there's a lot that we did tonight, and I'm really excited. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about how long you've been chatting with Jack Hager, and how does his Bellator deal affect AEW, if at all?
What's really pretty cool about secret keeping is Jake's been signed for a really long time. Jake's been signed to us for a really long time, and Jake can clearly keep a secret, and so can we. So Jake's out, and we did a good job keeping that one under. But it's been for quite a while now. Before All Out, Jake was signed.
Does his Bellator stuff affect what he's going to be doing with AEW?
We've been playing it all along. I mean, for him to his training, it's something we're going to have to account for. So he moved his camp to accommodate this, but he's also still in training, and he's in good schedule with that. But the AEW schedule with working Wednesdays allows him to kind of make Wednesday the off day, and then Thursday kind of Thursday, so he can train Friday to Tuesday, and then kind of and that's what Jake's doing right now. So, and Jake's a machine, and as you saw at the end, I think he got a great reaction, and it's, for him to come in, he's different than a lot of the high-flying wrestlers we have. He's a powerhouse, and I think he came in, and it was really exciting, and I thought the stable, we're going to learn more about.
Is that a stable? It wasn't just coincidence those guys all were together?
They looked really good together, didn't they? They seemed like they
and you said stable. I was just saying, you said stable.
It could be. And it looked like a stable to me. Like the way they walked, the way they talked, the way they acted, they looked like they seemed like guys with a plan. So to me, I thought that's what that might be. Yeah, we'll see.
Secrets and surprise entrance has been part of the draw and the success, a formula that's working for you guys right now. Is there some free agents out there that you'd like to come see play in this house? Are there some personal favorites that you personally would
Well,
like
just
to
like
come
I was
see?
saying, like with Jake, like we did a really good job keeping it a secret that Jake was here. So like I would probably I wouldn't. You guys are the last ones I would want to tell, right? Like, but because you'll tell everybody. But yeah, there are definitely people. To be honest, a lot of the best people you want are not free agents, and I'm just have to keep an eye out for like when people are going to be available, and hopefully. People are going to see now the more good shows we do. We've done some really good pay-per-views, and now we've done one, I think, excellent TV show. And hopefully, I think so far from what I've seen, it was critically successful. People seem to like it, and hopefully it's commercially successful and does a big rating. And I think more people are going to want to come here after seeing us doing good shows, and that it's a good place to work. You know, everyone tells me they like working here. So, but I can't really say. Thanks for asking.
Two-part question. You don't know the ratings yet, but in your mind, do you kind of have an idea of what your goal is? And two, based off of the way that you guys were trending on social tonight, how optimistic are you that you will reach that goal, if not exceed it?
I think, it's hard to say because I don't think the trending on social media as far as like Nielsen ratings is always correlated to so we'll see. I mean, I think it's a very good thing, but but what I do think is really positive is last night, for a countdown special, and we weren't promoting the countdown special, we were promoting tonight. We did a pretty good number for a countdown special, so all things considered, I think that wasn't like a live wrestling show. And now, what a benchmark to me would be to do better than that countdown show did, and I think we are going to do significantly better than that countdown show did, which was already a pretty big audience, and they did strong in a young demographic, and I'd like to build off that, and that was the countdown. I think we're going to do a much better number than that tonight, and hopefully we can sustain it. I think we did a really good show and word of mouth. I think we'll keep us going. The tag tournament beginning next week and the way we built that, I think is really exciting. And also we've got John Moxley returning to the ring. I think that was the reaction we got for that was awesome. And John Moxley versus Shawn Spears is huge. Some of the best stuff we did over the summer was with Tully Blanchard and Shawn Spears. I think that's a really hot act. Tully's planning to be back next week, I think. And so I think it's going to be a great episode. And we got some more announcements about what we're going to do. There'll be a couple other really big matches for next week, and then I just think we keep it going. But as far as like success, I without saying a number, I just think that like social media is one thing, but again, doing a good number last night hopefully will be a good indicator for tonight.
Was there anything about doing live TV that surprised you or concerns you going forward?
Well, we've been doing live TV, right? All 4 shows are live.
Like live
with commercials, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to still hit time cues on pay-per-view to get the pay-per-view off in time. It was more time sensitive, and like things were more. It was more hectic than it was for sure. With the pay-per-view, but that's it. But it was honestly not as bad as I was expecting. Like, because it's not that different than doing it, but it's different. It's really different.
One of the spots of the night was backstage, and most of the arena didn't see it, but all I could think about was, oh my God, will John Moxley be able to fight again in a week or two? So, are they insured through TNT or AEW, or are they independent contractors like some other companies? The
It
wrestlers. Are the
depends.
wrestlers insured through TNT or AEW, or are they independent contractors?
I've answered this so many times. I did a 3-hour podcast yesterday. Like, I'm happy to answer it again.
I would love to hear that answer.
I would love to give it to you.
Great.
Okay, so like a lot of people in this company are insured that are wrestlers are insured. Of the people you saw tonight, a large percentage of them were insured through AEW because they work full time for me in AEW.
Yeah.
There are other people. This is my 5th show I've done in 2019. There are other people and most people haven't been on all 5 shows. There are very few people.
Sure.
Of the people that have been on all 5 shows, almost all of them are
Cool.
full-time and have full-time benefits. John Moxley actually does get health care, but he gets it through his wife, who is a full-time employee elsewhere. And but actually Kenny, does get health care from me. And he is a full-time employee of the company, as are a lot of people that do full-time. Kenny's a part of my office, and he works here. That's his full-time job. There's other people like Britt Baker, like her full-time job is a dentist, and she's coming in and wrestled, I think, on, I want to say 4 of the 5 shows, 4 of the 5 shows now. But, 4 times this
So
year.
pretty much if they have exclusivity to AEW, they're probably covered by AEW?
Sort of. I've given a lot of people that even have exclusivity to AEW have worked independent shots. It's like people who are working in an office. Like, I've tried to create any position I have, like whether it's like graphic design, travel, creative, administrative, like those positions. I have production. I've carved out as many of them as I can for wrestlers, referees. So there are a lot of people. And again, I did I gave a pretty long list of them yesterday to Wade Keller on a podcast. And like, there's a lot of people here who like, and coaches. So there are a lot of people who do have healthcare and benefits who are wrestlers. But there are some people here who've only come in and done a couple spots this year that are not classified as full-time employees. It's a complicated answer. So I've explained a lot of times, but I'm happy to explain it to you.
NXT had a 15-minute overrun. Is that something you're considering for AEW or no?
It's not up to me. I mean, if we can do, I can't. Like, I'd love to give myself any time slot I want, but it's not up to me.
Is that the replay right after the show? Is that permanent?
Again, not up to me. I'd love that I think it's great, but I don't know if I don't believe that is going to be a permanent thing. But I hope the more they show the show, the better. I know there are replays scheduled throughout the week, but I don't know if the immediate replay is going to be a thing. But I know that across TNT, TBS, and True TV, there will be a number of replays.
We saw 4 dark matches. Is there any plan to air them somewhere else, or
yeah.
do you want to keep that format going where you keep the fans?
There'll be like I think there will be aired, and I think as we go on, we'll smooth it out and we'll develop that. It will be another franchise. I actually think we'll be able to get out of the good wrestling we're getting from these tapings, and as we kind of smooth out and build a format for it, which I think we have a pretty good idea what we want to do. Those will be available, and I think they'll be available for free for everybody online probably. And I'm excited about it. It's always been kind of part of the plan, and we have a big roster, and I want to be able to showcase people. But there's only so many people you can showcase in a 2-hour show if you want to have good long matches. And one thing about tonight's show is I think we had a bunch of good long matches, right? And like 4 of the 5 matches, we really had some time with them. So I do think that is something we're going to keep doing. Yeah.
You going to release the matches from tonight, the dark matches?
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. At least I can't promise you'll see this. And again, we're going to smooth it out as we go. Eventually, you'll see matches, full-length matches. I don't know if you'll see all 4 matches from tonight full-length, but you're going to see tonight's matches. And as we go on, you will see the matches in full-length, and it'll be very cool.
There was a Turner executive recently. I think it was maybe Butch. This was I don't know if it was Brett White's or something like that I read where he teased a studio show for.
No, I don't think that's like a crossover. That's funny because like there's like like Hollywood vocabulary is not necessarily wrestling vocabulary. So when we hear studio show, we all think like okay, like that's going to be like a wrestling show in a really small building. With,
well,
like,
I was thinking kind of maybe something like what they're doing with FS1 and WWE.
It could. I don't think it's necessarily. It could again. Like yeah, sure. I don't think it's necessarily that kind of a studio show, but it could be. I think it might mean that like their studio would produce like another show with us, but it could be a behind the scenes show, but it wouldn't be like a wrestling show in a small studio, or like it wouldn't be a Sports Center type show necessarily. Okay. But I'm not that I'm ruling out those kinds of shows. But I think those are shows that we could do. But I don't think that's what Brett meant necessarily. I think they are looking at developing another show for us.
So is that your call to push forward the development of new platforms to display the product, or is that just strictly Turner?
It's a joint call. I mean, if they want to pick, they're my partner. I'd be executive producer on all AEW content. It's my I own the company, so they can't produce content of mine without me wanting to do it. I have to produce it. But we've talked about doing something, and if again, it's like the question of like I can't just do 15 minutes of TV after, for example, but if they want to produce stuff and it's stuff we want to do, then yeah, definitely we could. It's as with I think all shows, it's like they're all kind of mutually between the people who the content creators and the network. Like it's a two-way street. I think with anything.
Tonight's show wasn't explicitly political in any way, except Jack Swagger came out and ends with a "We the People" chant. So will AEW shy away from politics or lean in?
We didn't. I know none of us were. I wasn't like we were expecting people to chant that or do that. So I'm not trying to get very specific about what we're going to do creatively there, but I mean, you never know.
Did you see presidential candidate Andrew Yang support a tweet about your show tonight?
Yeah, we've had a lot of political interest about our shows. I think politicians are very, very, very savvy people, and they're very savvy about trends. And when Double or Nothing was the number 2 trending thing in the world, what was number 1? Was it like an earthquake that night? So when we were the number 2 trending thing in the world, we had a political interest in that as well, and there was the next day after Double or Nothing, there was a lot of tweeting, and I believe AOC.
Yeah, which is the opposite party of somebody in the WWE Hall of Fame. So I was wondering, is there going to be a lane for you that maybe no one's occupying? Maybe a little bit of a bluer lane.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speculate on it. I think it's cool to people when people tweet about us, and I think again politicians are very savvy, and that's why a lot of politicians, when we've trended and been the number one trending on Twitter or the number 2 trend in the world on Google, that we're going to see a lot of political tweets, and I imagine we'll see things from both sides, and I can't comment on it, man. So I'm getting good advice here, man. I don't know.
Can you speak to the decision to open the show with Sammy Guevara?
I think Sammy did as a great wrestler, and it was a great opportunity, and also creatively, by the time you got to the end of the show, there was probably a reason why we opened with Sammy Guevara, especially when we shot the angle with Sammy came back in, and then Chris, and then at the end of the night, when Sammy's back out there again with Chris and Santana and Ortiz before Jake came in, there was pretty well thought out, I thought, and the match was excellent too, and so I thought it delivered on every level. I was really happy with it.
Tonight was Santana and Ortiz's first advertised appearance. Was there ever any decision to maybe bring them into the fold with the Being the Elite or any of the other web stuff?
Well, they were on All Out. Oh, advertised. Yeah.
Well,
last night in the Countdown special, we advertised that they were going to be here tonight. So, I mean, I guess you're right, but I think that was part of the hook of the Countdown special, was that, to answer your question, the idea was that after All Out, we would probably there would be mystery partners, and then last night, there would be a payoff to last night's Countdown special, which again, like we talked about, I thought was pretty well received. It did a good number, and people seemed to really like it. And so that was part of that.
Where was Joey Janela tonight? He wasn't on the show. He wasn't on the after
Joey
show.
was here. Joey was here.
He wasn't wrestling.
Joey's awesome. Joey will be wrestling next week. Joey's got a big match next week, and we've got plans for Joey. And again, there's a lot of awesome people I would like to have seen get in tonight, and I'm as big a Joey fan as there is. I don't know, was anybody at Bola? Anybody who went to Bola? Anybody Bola? Battle of LA people here? Well, it's good. I'm glad you all came to this show and not that. But I was there, and did you see the Phoenix photos? Joey and Phoenix. Yeah, so I took those. I'm actually, that was Jeff wasn't out there. We didn't have social media, so I was actually the photographer for AEW social media. But no, I'm a huge fan of Joey. I go see him wrestle whenever I can, and I love getting him on our shows, and I was a big advocate for. I was really happy that he was in the main event spot of Fyter Fest.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised he wasn't here tonight.
Joey's going to be very involved, and he is here. He is around, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing him soon. I'll be seeing him later tonight, and you guys will be seeing him very soon. Joey's great. I think he just also taped wrestlers in hotel rooms getting room service. That'll be very good. So there'll be some good stories in there. I think he's got the story about us watching 12 Rounds 3 at 4 in the morning, which is Mox's movie. It was good. We really enjoyed it. It was good.
No sharks. There were some reports today about Chris Jericho potentially wrestling Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 14, and apparently that news coming out of Japan. I don't know what his agreement looks like exactly with AEW, but can we infer from that maybe some more New Japan talent might be coming over and showcasing, even on one-offs?
No, I mean, I just, I believe one good turn deserves another, but we shall see. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Will we see more Awesome Kong?
Yeah, she was sitting. In fact, she was coaching. The second women's match, that women's tag, she was sitting next to me. She's great. And you will be seeing her. She's backstage too. She's another full-time employee, and she works with us, and she's an important part of the office, and she's great. She's backstage a lot, but you will be seeing her again. But I won't say when or where.
Does that mean you guys are ever going to cross promote with Glow on Netflix?
I would love to do some stuff together with Glow. I think we would love to. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. If they'd like to do it, we'd love to do it. Yeah, and if she'd like to do it, I don't know if she wants to cross streams like they'd say in Ghostbusters, but
it is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. Yeah, it's just
when Jericho came to the ring at the top of the show, he left the belt in the ring and then he left. Was that just kind of like an inside joke there? Was that you guys having a little bit of fun or just happenstance?
No, it was it was maybe a live TV moment. I don't know, but it wasn't. That wasn't something we put a lot of blocking thought into. I mean, he went back. He did leave the belt. And then he went back out and did a belt shot in the opening segment. That was thought out, if that's what you're referring. But there's a lot. Again, our shows are not. One of the great things about tonight is wasn't that a pretty spontaneous, free flowing? Like, didn't it feel like alive? And when you, I think you guys, when you listen to the commentary, I thought I only get to listen. I'm excited to watch it again. I only get to listen to about half of it, like live, because I've got Keith and Tim, and I'm giving time cues. But like from what I listened to, I thought the announcers did a great job, and I think our commentary is good, and I think the action was awesome. We had, like I said, long matches is something I feel really, really strong about, but also like keeping the action in the arena, because we have picture-in-picture tonight, which allowed us to improve the flow of the matches, and I think that was something that I hope we can do again in the future. But for me, it was really great of the sponsors to let us do that, because we tried to take advantage of it with great action in the breaks.
You had that for every break?
We didn't have it for every break, no, but we had it through some of the matches. So for example, in Hangman Pac, there was there was a long period after Pac came out, when he and Hangman, we were in commercial then, when he's getting some heat for being a heel and stalling, and he didn't want to get in the ring right away, and then we came in and the bell rang basically when we got back from commercial. Then they did a very long, great match, but during that match there was a picture-in-picture break, and it was pretty seamless, I thought, and it was great for the match, but the fans got to see the whole match, and that was thanks to TNT and the sponsors, which was a really cool thing they did. And we also did it during the six-man tag main event and during the women's championship match. We had picture-in-picture breaks, and I think there was all the Chris during the Cody, when he was beating down Cody. That was also picture-in-picture. So
Kevin Smith was here. You mentioned Glow and Netflix. How important, if you could rank it from most important, very important, or least important, is it to be embraced by celebrity from other fields of sports and entertainment?
I think it's we haven't really gone out and sought it. The people who've come to our shows, Mike Tyson was at Double or Nothing, and he wanted to come. He thought it was awesome, and he's really nice. He came to a Jags game a couple weeks ago and posted photos, and a lot of people just really like what we're doing, and have followed up and stayed in touch. And Kevin Smith happened to also Chris Jericho's in the next Jay and Silent Bob movie, so when he was looking to promote it, he thought it would be great, and they came to us and were like, "Would you like to do this?" And I thought it was great. And to me, what was cool about it too is I didn't want to get ripped for doing a bad backstage comedy segment, and I wanted to keep everything in the flow of the wrestling show. So without breaking the seamless flow of a wrestling show, we did a segment in the arena that didn't drag on too long, and then moved on to something else cool that was still made sense when you pivot, because it's all in the context of the tag tournament, because Jack and Angelico were pissed that they're not in this tag tournament. They maintained that actually the shoulder was up when they wrestled Private Party. So Private Party kind of were the defenders. They kind of came down. They brought they brought a couple drinks for Jay and Silent Bob and relaxed them, and then they were they kind of cooled the situation off, because Jack and Angelica were what are these guys doing here, right? So that was cool. But then we seamlessly flowed up to the SCU and Lucha Brothers tag team scuffle, and then we've got a bunch of things going on with the tag team tournament, building seeds. And I thought from commercial to commercial, what we did there was pretty seamless. And I try not to have too much non-wrestling, but when there is some non-wrestling, if you can at least keep it in the flow of the arena, keep it in in the context of wrestling, I think it's good. And so that's why we try to stay around the ring as much as we could. Even the one time we went backstage and showed we showed, which is pretty usual for they'll show guys warming up in UFC or whatever. That's not, I don't think that's breaking the fourth wall or whatever. We did overhear Chris and Santana and Ortiz strategizing a little bit, but even then we gave an explanation where JR was we had cameras set up and we actually eavesdropped on those guys a little bit there, so we just so it doesn't seem implausible, I guess.
It was a good show overnight, but you did say that Jericho will have a title defense before Full Gear. Is there any idea of who he's going to be?
Yeah. There's going to be an announcement. There's going to be a match next week, and the person who wins that match next week is going to wrestle Chris in Philadelphia for the championship. And we've already been advertising in Philadelphia that there's going to be the first defense of the men's and women's title. So it's again, when we sold tickets, that was one of the things we promised people. So Chris will defend the title in Philadelphia, and next week we'll find out who it's going to be against. So we'll make some announcements about that. But it should be a fun match, and the winner of that match against Chris is also good. Will definitely be a fun match.
You guys went with Shivani, Jim Ross, Excalibur at the booth today. You also have Goldenboy and Alex Marvez. Are you going to have rotating Oh yeah, there he is. Are you guys gonna have? Hey, Alex. Are you guys gonna have rotating commentators at the booth, or is this the?
No, that's the team.
That's the team. So what is Alex?
He's been doing they've been doing. First of all, for on the control centers.
Sure.
So he's been doing a lot of content as far as Road to and the control centers for the pay-per-views, and then also we've had a lot of social media push and backstage interview stuff Alex has been doing. But one thing Alex does that a lot of people don't know and he doesn't get enough credit for is he prepares Jim for these pay-per-views with extensive notes on people, and he's really, really helpful, and he's a good coordinator for all the announcers and helps Excalibur and Tony and Jim, and he's super professional. So when he was calling the shows and when he has not been in the booth, Alex has still been doing a lot of the backstage preparation as a coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then Goldenboy will be calling.
There's Alex, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta let everybody see him.
No, it's good, man. And then a Goldenboy, who's also Alex. Goldenboy will be calling Full Gear. Tony isn't going to be available. He's calling. Got University of Georgia football responsibilities, and so Goldenboy will be on the team with JR and Excalibur for Full Gear.
Okay.
Just to be honest with everyone, I think I don't want to false advertise Tony.
It's fine. I appreciate the direct answer.
On TV,
yeah.
Tony's on TV every week with Jim and Excalibur.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was great. Does anybody else have stuff? I'm fine.
Any thought put into the ticket scalper issue?
What's that? I don't really.
Well, there's a lot of secondary market tickets at the last minute, flooding the market.
I don't know about It's
it's an industry-wide problem.
I guess I think that happens in all sporting events, doesn't it? I don't know. I got tickets to the heavyweight title fight, Joshua Ruiz, which ended up being one of the best sporting events of the year, and I got tickets for a third at face value and on StubHub right before. So I don't know. And that was one of the best sporting events I've ever seen in my life. So
industry thing.
Yeah. So I don't know what. I guess I think it happens. But they get bought up, but. I guess it's better than if they didn't get bought up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you going to be here every Wednesday?
I don't think we're doing the Scrum. I will be here.
No. Will you be at the show?
I'll be doing this every Wednesday. Yeah. And but I don't think we're doing a Scrum every Wednesday like this. But we will be doing. I will definitely see a lot of you guys again at Full Gear, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So back here in this general market. And I'm not that right. If you guys have other stuff, I don't see it all that often. So since I won't be doing another Scrum for a while, if anybody has anything else, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Did you watch NXT backstage or no?
I can't watch anything while I'm.
Mute on a
no,
monitor.
We have 9. I have 8
working.
camera angles of our. We have all of our camera angles. Then I'll pull it up and the live feed of our show with plus the network feed and a headset and a stopwatch. So no, I can't watch. I have no idea what they did tonight.
Okay.
So but I will watch their show after I watch our show.
Okay.
Any plans to bring your made for wrestling quarterback into the AEW fold?
He was really cool of him to do that. He's a really good dude. That was awesome of him to do that. And Chris shouted him out back. He's awesome. He's a real deal, and I really appreciate him for doing that. It was nice of him to do that.
Would you encourage fans to throw hot dogs at Chris Jericho in the future?
He's a big wiener. He's the big wiener in the ring. And,
that's just going to make them do it more when you say that.
I don't encourage people throwing stuff, but at least if they're going to throw, at least with something funny and not painful or going to hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
There's a great legacy
of
throwing things in the ring on TV.
Well, I've had bottles thrown at me inside. It's not fun, and you don't want that. And it's a hot dog is probably better.
Hot dog make it on TV?
That was I don't know if that's probably might be a social media. I think that was during the commercial. I believe that was during the commercial.
It was
made it on the international broadcast.
So maybe it's saved.
Oh, it might have made it. You guys, people are starting to trickle out. Does anybody else have anything else?
I just wanted to ask about the decision to put the title on Riho, and Nyla Rose is obviously upset about it. Is she going to get another shot at Riho, or are you going to take the approach of the wins and losses coming into effect?
Wins and losses definitely come into effect. Nyla will have to. The Casino Battle Royale performance. I think was it 11 eliminations? Nyla 11. So and bell to bell. And I was very hands-on in terms of producing the women's Casino Battle Royale because I wanted to make sure that some of the mistakes that we made with the men's Casino Battle Royale in the first segment we didn't make again. And we had a better story. I thought the women's Casino Battle Royale was better. I thought we put more effort into it, did a better one. And Nyla's performance was outstanding. And I thought it was a star-making performance, and that's how Nyla got this opportunity tonight, even though Nyla has not actually won a singles match. But by winning the Casino Battle Royale, whoever won it was going to get the opportunity to wrestle Rio. Rio's got a really good record and is now, especially after tonight, outstanding resume here in AEW. But I think Nyla's going to have to win some matches now or win next year's Casino Battle Royale, either one, but to get another shot for sure. Because technically, I think on the graphics we're showing the records, and now Nyla's technically over. But the dominance of the Casino Battle Royale performance, I think, says that Nyla's clearly one of our top women's wrestlers. Everyone saw it. Over half the field she eliminated in the Battle Royale, and then went bell to bell. So I think we can expect Nyla will do well, but Nyla still has to win the matches. That's part of the wins and losses mattering.
Tony, quick one. So Nyla faced down with Kenny at the end there. Are you guys open? You have pretty set divisions where you're open to an intergender situation.
That was not what that was. I mean, that's the story is Kenny didn't really put his hand. It wasn't it was. I mean, it was not supposed to set that up. It was more his protege. It was a big moment for Kenny's protege Rio, and Kenny's very involved in the women's division. And then for that to happen, that wasn't what was supposed to happen, and that's why he was going in to clear it up. It was real life emotion. So it was cool.
Switching back to the records and the graphics and analytically speaking, are you guys measuring the action in terms of kickouts, pinfalls, reversals, things?
We have the ability to go back and track all that action and in the moment, and we are looking at doing that. And I'm glad you asked that. And it's something I've taken a lot of time to look at and it's thought about for years. And we are, but instead of rolling out everything on people at once, right now it's pretty revolutionary to have records, and people are shocked that we record win-loss records and booking with those. And I think you'll see us adding more intricate elements to it as we go on, and that's you're hitting on some very, very close to what I like statistically. So
if you're hiring, I'm your guy.
That's great to know. I'm a big statistician. That's good to know.
You get all those stats going. I mean, it kind of makes me wonder: is there an opportunity? Do you think to do fantasy AEW?
Yeah, I've been talking about doing fantasy wrestling for years. Actually, I think as we get our show going and build up our following, it's something we can definitely look at. I don't want to give too oversaturate with too many things at once, because right now I'm just trying to sell Dynamite to people before I try and give people, just like I said, right now Dynamite win-loss records and people will, but yeah, that fantasy wrestling is something I've been thinking about for years. I've played wrestling leagues and fantasy leagues, and there's definitely opportunities, and there's probably multiple different ways you can do it. And there could even be there could be a fantasy league based on stats, and then there could be even something that's more like an e-feds for people, and two different things. So I think it's going to be really, really exciting as we build our fan base and kind of more and more people find out about what we're doing. But I don't want to spread ourselves too thin with too many products at once. I think everything we roll out is big right now, and we've got Dynamite and again, Full Gear is kind of a big focus for us right now, and you'll see as our TV, the tag tournament, and Full Gear. Now that we've crowned men's and women's champions, I think you'll see more and more new things.
Very cool.
That's great. Anybody else?
I got one last one. Sponsors in wrestling, it's always been harder to get higher paying sponsors versus say the NFL. Are you seeing sponsors jumping on board?
Yeah, we are starting to get. Yeah, I mean, we've never had a problem getting sponsors because on our early pay-per-views we've had great partnerships and have some interest from the get-go. I think that's one of the great things about AEW is from the launch, there has been interest from TV networks and sponsors. So on the last show we did the Cracker Barrel Clash, and you'll see more partnerships like that. I think going into our TV show and Full Gear, we'll be doing more stuff that we promoted the Jay and Silent Bob film tonight, and I think you'll see more promotional stuff from us. But again, I want to do it in a way where it's in the context of wrestling, just like the Cracker Barrel Clash. That match was great, and the sponsor loved it, and so we accomplished everything we could because our fans had fun, and it gave Cracker Barrel a good name in the wrestling community, even more than they already had. Right? They already have a great name in the wrestling community, but even more so. And so I just think it showcases for sponsors that we're really engaged, and we want to give people every opportunity to get their product over and make the fans love them. Anybody else? I've done a lot. Any more?
Do you guys plan on doing a developmental system?
I thought about it. I mean, one thing is like as you see the dark matches, they're not a developmental system, but I do think like they're not exactly dark matches. Is like as we start streaming them and they become a platform, like there's going to be more opportunities to tape here. I have thought then about like doing more shows and tapings, but again, like same answer I just kind of gave about some other products. I just think like more products, more platforms, more shows. Like I don't want to water down what we're doing right now. Like Dynamite is what people are talking about. I think people are really excited about Dynamite, and we're building to Full Gear too. And I think every week, like we're going to be doing more and more here, and that pay-per-view will be building more too. And that's something I want to do too. So I do think there's a possibility in the future that could be something we'd want to do though. Definitely. Anybody else? So I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for guys coming. I really appreciate it. And thanks for always coming to these. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.